All right, how's everyone doing? I am Rich CELENZA. Thanks for checking out the Rich CELENZA show. So what I'm going to call this podcast is, when is the right time to take a risk? And the reason I bring this up is mainly because we're still going through a pandemic, and it's been well over a year now. And, I think like a lot of people, when this kind of hit, a lot of people freaked out. I understand. A lot of people lost their jobs, got furloughed, had their businesses shut down. Everything was kind of turned upside down. And, I was somebody who always was able to do a lot of things separately and also work another job at times. So my downtime was me creating a lot of things. So I kind of did get a lot of things accomplished. Even if I was working another job, that didn't mean I was doing things while I was supposed to be doing my job, but it definitely meant I didn't waste a lot of time doing things that I didn't want to do, which I think a lot of people do actually do that. I find quite interesting. But when things kind of went sideways a lot of times with the pandemic, for some reason it didn't even faze me. And I get, we all have to pay our bills and we have to do all these different type of things. I actually looked at the pandemic, or being kind of at that point in time kind of furloughed. And I haven't yet to really still go back to work actually full time by any means. I've been doing my own thing. I looked at from a personal, not from, what's going on health with everybody getting sick. That's a whole different thing. I feel horrible about that. From a personal situation, that it was time for me to kind of kick it in second gear and really get a lot of things done that I wanted to do. Because I've gone through this throughout my life where I've taken long periods of time of work off, and a lot of people thought I was an idiot. I didn't know what I was doing, and I'm not talking for a few weeks. I would take off 6 months, 9 months at a time. And you'd ask, how the hell do I do that? And at times I was wealthy enough to do that, and other times I wasn't. But either way, I just felt like it was time for me at those point in times to do what I wanted to do, because I had something I wanted to get done. And it was, I guess, taking a huge risk. And I used to get asked that probably more than anything at times when you're not working, is how can you risk it now when you're not working? And like I used to say, well, how am I going to find time to do things or take a risk if I am working? And don't get me wrong, you have time, like I said previously, to do things when you're working. But some jobs, like the previous job I had a lot of things to get done, a lot of traveling, and just not a lot of time sometimes to do a lot of things. So, I've previously once talked about this, I think maybe on a podcast, but I didn't touch upon it maybe as strong as I should have. But back to the risk taking. I remember when, I was doing fairly well and always working. And I always wanted to do certain things, but I didn't do them because, like a lot of people, you would say, hey, I think I'm going to go try this instead. It doesn't even mean change careers. It would just mean do something new, maybe invest in something else, try something different. But when things are going good, most of the time you're like, no, why would you leave what you're doing? Why? Just keep riding it out. Keep kind of kicking it in the ass. Keep going further. Keep trying to push whatever you're pushing. But if you don't feel like doing that anymore, or you're not interested in doing that anymore, it gets hard. And, I think a lot of times then, people get aggravated, they get fired, they quit, whatever the case may be. Now they're in a position where they truly can't now take a risk either, because now their back's against the wall. When they were actually, maybe making money and have things rocking and rolling, was actually, I think, the right time to start taking the risks. And I don't even mean, a lot of times when people hear me talk, I'm not always just talking about taking a risk as far as investing in some real estate, investing in some type of currency, or, just investing in things in that nature. I'm saying maybe a personal thing that you wanted to accomplish or that you wanted to go after. I don't care if it's music, I don't care if it's film, I don't care if you want to write a book. I don't, all these different types of things. Whatever you want to create, if you always kind of want to be an inventor. But I'm definitely here to tell you. Let me get some water here. When it comes to taking risks, because I guess that's what I'm kind of known for, to a certain degree, is there's no right or wrong time. The time is whenever you do it, in my opinion. You just got to do it. Most people are afraid to do it. But I think people always think this would be the right time to take a risk, or this will be the right time, or if it's this time in my life, or I should wait until I'm in this position financially, or I should wait if I'm in this relationship maybe to invest in this, or when I'm this age I should do that. I'm here to tell you, though, that may work for you. But I've discussed this many times. No one lives your life. If you have something you want to do, you better do it. You literally do not know where you're going to be in the next minute. I'm telling you right now. You don't know where you're going to be, probably most likely. You probably will end up maybe in the position or in the environment you think. But I could tell you could get in a car right now and end up paralyzed. If people think it's a joke, it happens constantly. Get on your motorcycle, you could get on an airplane. You could have an episode tonight, a family matter. You could be out in a restaurant, and I've had it even recently a couple times. A couple things happen that you've never expected to go down. You just don't know in life. You know, life is a risk. And if you plan on doing something in your life, I think there's no better time than the present. I'm constantly taking risks. But here's the thing that I'm going to wrap it up with. And I see so much of this. You know, I hate problems, but I've come to love rejection, which kind of sounds weird, and I'm going to do a podcast actually on that. But when you take risks or you do things, you a lot of times think you're going to succeed at them. I'm here to tell you, especially if it's the first time around, you're most likely not going to succeed. You hear all these stories of people succeeding, right? I get it. But most of the time, you do not hear the other 99.9 that don't succeed. I don't care what type of industry you go into, what you're going after, what type of money you invest. A lot of times you are going to lose. Be able to take a hit and move on. Understand that this is a risk and understand that there's consequences to that risk. They're not always beneficial. Along the way, I have, as much as I've risked and I've succeeded, I've also lost way more. It doesn't even mean money. I think a lot of times people think, oh, I risked this and I lost money. You lose your time. You also may lose relationships along the way if it doesn't work out. You may lose your self-esteem, self-respect, your self-confidence along the way because a lot of times you're going to get defeated. And if you've, taken risks and you failed, you understand that just because that happened does not mean that's going to happen every time. I will say the one thing, if something happens to me, I'm 50, I'm going to be 52 years old. I always, you think about when you die, the last minutes, last seconds, whatever the case may be. No one necessarily wants to die to a certain degree. Some do, some don't. But my point being is, I really went after a lot of things I wanted to go after. I went to the places I wanted to go to. I did a lot of things that I wanted to do. And believe me, they were a lot of times not the right time to do them, always, but I did them. And now that I look back, I am so happy I did that. And you may just have a few things in your life that you want to get accomplished or go to or visit or experience. Do it. I'm not sitting here to preach to you like I'm some guru dude telling anybody whatever that you have to do it now. But I would definitely recommend putting it out on the table. So many of us restrict ourselves from doing things we love, and I really think it takes a toll on us emotionally and physically. So just wanted to do a podcast on this. And if you have any questions or things, hit me up. I teach a Mastering Self-Confidence program, and it's not just about women. It's about truly helping men, be who the hell they want to be and do what they want to do and be around who they want to be around. I think a lot of us have been programmed to not believe we're worthy of a lot of things. And then if you are kind of over the top and you do start doing a lot of things you want to do, you're flashy or showy and I don't mean to say that and you go financially broke. If you want a Bentley and you want a jewelry and all this shit and you can't afford it, I'm not telling you to go in debt doing that. But what I am saying is be yourself. I don't care, in the future, if you want that car, that jewelry, you want to experience that lifestyle, go do it. No one, unless you're loaded and you're, somebody gives you an inheritance, whatever you want in your life, man, you're going to have to most likely go out and get it. You're on your own.